Hi everybody, it's Lisa and it's time for another Verbling class. It's 11 a.m. on, what is today? Wednesday, February 13th, and this class is going to be a listening class. So the way that I'm going to do this class is I will be reading some selections about various types of topics, and then I will have the students be answering questions about what they understood. So we're going to be checking for comprehension. So you're going to have to really pay attention and get your ears working today. So the way this works is Verbling has now set up a premium membership. So it costs $25 per month. And what happens is, if you would like to try the premium membership, it allows you to reserve a seat, so to speak, in the classroom. So the classroom, as you well know, is the Verbling Hangout, the Google Plus Hangout, and we can only have 9 people in the Hangout at one time. So because Verbling is getting more and more popular, and there are so many people around the world who would like to participate in these classes, then they offered this service so that people who are very serious about coming to class regularly and taking advantage of the different things that you can learn with the different teachers like myself, then you have the chance to make sure that you're actually in the class. Because what can happen a lot of times is you come right on time and already the class is full. So if you would like to check out this option, I think they're offering it a free trial right now, so there's you can click on the link above the Verbling chat. However, if you still want to come and take your chances of getting in the class, after the first couple of minutes of the class, you will see the green join class button, and you will be able to come in and join the class now. As you see, people are now coming in to the class and joining us. And so the first 2 minutes of the class are going to be now just welcoming people in and making sure whoever is here has reserved, they get in first, and then the other people can start coming in. Okay? If this is your first class to Verbling, then let me just briefly tell you how it works. You come on time to the class, and you see the Join Class button. You click on it. It brings you into the Google Hangout, and then the teacher will explain how the class is running. So I'm one of the many teachers, and I do lots of different types of classes. I do reading classes where you get to read out loud, and we read articles from newspapers, or usually stuff from the internet online, New York Times, the Atlantic, Huffington Post, things like that. I typically have classes that are at a little bit higher level, so it's more intermediate or advanced, people who are oftentimes studying for tests for English proficiency, or people who are just wanting to keep up their practice of English and improve because they are already using English in their work, or perhaps in their daily life even. Okay, so I think we're ready to get started here. So I just want to welcome everybody who's here. We got Yosef here from Yemen, and Mine, and Maria, and Jose, Fernando, sorry, and Danielle, and Chi. Oh, hi Chi, are you? How you doing?
Hi, I'm
Hi.
good. Hi.
Okay, good.
Nice to meet you again.
Yeah, good to have you again. And Alex is here, and Alan again. So great. So I don't want to take any time to do the introductions, because I think most of everybody has been here before, and so I would like to get as much time out of this hour as we can. So I'm going to go straight into the lesson. So like I said, this is a listening practice class. So in a lot of classes I do the reading or the writing, and so you have a little bit more opportunity to use other things like Google Translate or the internet to help you look up some words that you may not know. But this is a little bit of a more challenging class, perhaps, because I am just going to be reading some selections, And the first time around, I'm not going to give you the written part. I'm not going to give you the link to the website. I'm just going to read it, and then afterwards I will give it to you. So we're going to see how this goes. Okay? So the students, your job is to listen, and then I'm going to be asking some questions. And so some people, I might just call on people. So it could be you. There are different levels of English, I already know, in this classroom with the various students that are here. Some who will be able to probably answer all of the questions, and some who might need to have the story repeated another time, which is totally fine. Everybody's at their own level, and we're all here just to practice and improve. Okay? Also, if you want to listen, people that are watching, of course you can listen because it's a listening class, so you won't be able to answer or speak because I won't hear you. But if you want to answer and put your answer in the Verbling chat, you can do that as well. Okay? So let's just get started. This is a little story. I just found some little stories on this particular website, which is a pretty neat website. It has lots of little stories in English. What I mean by little is that they're short. They're not very long. Oftentimes in the reading classes we do very long readings that take half an hour to read or something. This will only take a couple of minutes. Okay, so I'm going to read it, and what you need to do is listen. Okay. It was time for a haircut. Lenny didn't even have to look in the mirror. Even though he was going bald, he knew that he needed to cut his hair every 2 weeks. He had a tongue of hair on the top of his head. His hair was thinning at the crown. He still had plenty of hair on the sides and back. It was what they call salt and pepper, a mixture of gray hair and dark brown hair. It was only a few years, he figured, until the salt and pepper became just salt. He never let his hair grow for more than 2 weeks. The longer it got, the worse it looked, he thought. He spread a newspaper over the bathroom sink so that no hair went down the drain. He plugged in the clippers and started cutting his hair. He started at the back of his head, went to the sides, and finished on the top. Every minute or so, he had to clean the hair out of the blades with an old toothbrush. Finished, he picked up a hand mirror to check out the back of his head. Everything looked okay. He carried the newspaper back out to the kitchen and shook the hair clippings into the trash can. Then he took a shower. Okay, so that was it. That was a little story. So, Alan, what was this story about?
So the story is about an old man, not an old man, but maybe the 40s, and he's bald, and he's got his hair starting to be white, and he's cutting his hair every 2 weeks, and the story is about how he cut his hair and what's the process. Right.
Good. Okay, Alex, what did he use to cut his hair? Do you remember the word that they said? He plugged in what?
Not really sure. Some electric blades. I didn't.
Does anybody remember from the reading the exact name, what you call those blades? That they're electronic.
I don't remember, but I guess trimmer. Is that? No.
Trimmer is, yeah, that's one word, but that wasn't the word
Clipper?
that was. Yes. I'll put it in the chat here. Clippers. So when you're cutting your hair, sometimes you use just scissors, so you just cut like that. But for men, a lot of time, they plug in an electronic one, and it's the clippers, the ones that you can like shave your head, the blades. So you understood it, Alex, but the specific word was clippers. Okay, what does it mean that it said that he had salt and pepper, that he described his hair as salt and pepper? Shio, do you remember what that meant? Salt and pepper?
Not totally white, but getting white. His hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It actually said, hold on, a mixture of gray hair and dark brown hair. So that's what they're called, salt and
Okay.
pepper. And he's worried that it's going to just get more and more white and then bald. Yes,
So
did
is he
somebody have a
doing
question?
is he doing a comparison between the salt pepper
Uh-huh.
recipient and the way his head looked? You know what I mean?
Is he doing it? Yes. Yes, because I will read it again. He
We
said,
used to say so in our country. We used to say so
oh,
that
really?
your head it looks like a salt and pepper recipient. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what happens for some people as their hair, as they get older. Their hair starts changing colors and goes from being maybe brown to a little bit of brown with a little bit of gray and then all gray or white. Sometimes we call it both gray or white. Yeah. Okay, so Alan kind of already mentioned this. Daniel, do you remember how often does he cut his hair?
Twice, every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks.
Yes. Yes, he never lets his hair grow for more than 2 weeks, so he likes to cut it every 2 weeks. Okay, so what does he have to do every couple of minutes with the blades? Jose, did you hear this story, Jose?
Yes, I did, but I don't know the answer.
Okay, does anybody remember what he has to do every couple of minutes? He's cutting his hair and he has to stop and do what?
He had to clean the blades with the toothbrush.
Uh-huh, yeah. He says every minute or so he had to clean the hair out of the blades with an old toothbrush. Okay, so I'll write that there. That was the sentence that said that. Okay, and what did he do so that the hair doesn't go into the drain? What does he do? Maria, did you remember what it said about?
Yeah, I think before he started to cut his hair, he put a newspaper in the sink, or is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yeah, that's what it said. Yep. He spread a newspaper over the bathroom sink so that no hair went down the drain. Everybody know what part the drain is?
Yeah.
Where the water goes down? That's called the drain. Yes, and if you
Right.
get hair in there, it'll get clogged up. That's what we call it, clogged up. Okay, great.
Plug it
And
up. It's stuck. Is it
yes,
stuck?
stopped
Okay.
up. Yes, clogged up means stopped up. You might have to get a plumber to come in and
Yeah.
they put
Or
this
you
thing
have
called
to become a plumber yourself.
Yeah,
I
right.
did that the other day. I was a plumber. Yeah, it's true.
What did you do?
Yeah, I had to kind of take apart that
Oh, really?
pipe
The pipe.
beneath the sink
Yeah.
and put plastic gloves on my hands, of course, and
Uh-huh.
take out a lot of
Hair and stuff.
things that was clogged.
Yeah. Yes. That happens especially I remember when I was pregnant. I lost a lot of hair. I didn't go bald or anything, but I have long hair already, and so when I was pregnant, for some reason a lot of hair ended up in the drain, and I think we needed to call the plumber, and they brought this thing called a snake, and it's like a big wire, a long wire that coils up, and they put it down there. Yeah. And it clears it out. So that's what happens.
Sometimes, yeah.
And the plumber, the plumber told me that he often has to go to houses where there's pregnant women because their hair falls out a lot.
Really?
That was interesting. Yeah. Okay. So and the last one, Yosef, what does he do after he finishes cutting his hair?
I think he go to the kitchen and he shocked the hair to a trash, something like that.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, he went to the kitchen and dumped out the hair clippings, so that's the little parts of hair. But then what did he do at the very end of the story?
Take a shower.
Yeah, he just took a shower. So I'm wondering, Alan, do you cut your own hair or do you go to a barber?
Yeah, I go to the barber because it's much better done than myself.
Better than yourself. And what about you, Alex?
Yeah, same go to barbers.
You go to a barber. And Chiho, do you ever cut your hair? Or do you cut? You have a son, don't you, or no?
Sorry, could you say again?
Do you? Oh yeah. Do you ever cut your hair, or do you cut anybody else's hair?
Yeah, I go to hair salon.
Yeah, hair salon.
But sometimes I cut my hair in front of my hair by myself.
Like the bangs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, some people cut their bangs. It's funny when little kids sometimes cut their own bangs. They cut them very short.
Is that called
Lisa.
a fringe? Mm-hmm.
What, Maria?
Is that called a fringe in UK? Fringe, a bang.
Oh, fringe. Oh, yeah, perhaps. Yeah, fringe. Yeah. Yeah, we say bangs here. Daniel?
Yeah, frankly speaking, Lisa.
Yes.
Frankly speaking,
yes.
This story is my story. This is what I do.
Really?
You want to see my hair?
Yeah,
look,
sure.
Yeah, look at me. Look at me. Yeah?
Yeah.
This is my story. This is what I used to do.
Yeah.
Every month. Yeah. Can you see my mouth at the back?
Yeah.
So this is what I used to do. I have my own clipper.
Clipper?
Yeah.
You have your own. Good.
I used to do it every month. So for me, it's interesting. Yeah.
What do you do now?
Now, you mean?
Yeah. Do you go to the barber or do you do it yourself?
No. I have my own clipper.
You still do? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
This is what I used to do. Every month, I cut my hair in the bathroom, and I put a big serviette, a big
towel or something.
Yeah, towel, something. Yeah. Spread on the sink, and then I go to the trash bin and the kitchen, and then I have a shower also. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, this is your story.
I got floored, you know. I got floored.
Yeah, you were surprised I was talking about you, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny.
I'll call you by the name of that guy.
What did you
Lenny.
say, Joseph?
The guy name in the story, his name is Lenny, right? So I'll keep calling him Lenny.
Yeah, Lenny. Yeah, the guy in the story, his name was Lenny. Jose, who cuts your hair? Jose.
Yes. Sorry, can you repeat, please? What ask me?
Yeah, I just was asking you, who cuts your hair?
Who cuts your hair? I'm going to my barber because I need somebody to touch me. but I too.
Yeah.
I too.
Okay. Okay. Hey, Julissa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. Did you hear the story? Were you here?
A little bit, yes, I could hear.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you go to a hair salon or do you cut your own hair?
No, I don't know how to do it, so I go to a hair salon from time to time.
Yeah. I think mostly women probably go have somebody else do it.
Yes.
I've got a question.
Yes.
What's the difference between a hair salon and a barber shop? Because I met one guy and he asked him if he was going to the barber shop, and he told me, "No, I'm going to the hair salon." So
yeah,
I was
I
wondering
think. Well, the difference typically is a barber shop is. So a man is usually there cutting men's hair for the most part, and for the most part they don't do a lot of styling of the hair. They just do simple cutting. So a lot of men just need their hair shaved and cut short in the back and around the top. They don't necessarily make a very much of a style. So if you're a man and you want to go to a hair salon, you would go there because you want more stylish type of a haircut. So maybe there's women usually, sometimes men at hair salons, and they are trained in more how to do different types of styles with hair. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so barbershop is for short hair people and
Usually,
hair
yeah.
salon for long hair people.
Yeah, yeah. Usually, a barbershop is for kind of a quick cut because a lot of men, like in this story, they cut their hair very frequently. So maybe every couple weeks or once a month, and so you just they just go there and they're just kind of trimming it. They just trim it up. They call it. So a man might go into the barber and just say, "Just give me a trim." And that would mean just, cut it, make it look nice, but he's not looking for a style. But if you're a man or a woman and you want to have a particular look, then you would go to a hair salon or a beauty salon and you would have a hairstylist do your hair, which might involve more than just cutting or trimming. It might involve getting your hair washed, putting conditioner on it. Maybe you have a perm, they make your hair curly. They use other instruments to do stuff with your hair. Yeah.
So to drink,
okay,
to drink up your... Yeah.
Go ahead, Daniel, and then you, Lisa.
So to trim it up mean to just to have a cut of your hair. So
Yeah,
quickly.
A little trim is just a quick cut, just cutting off a little bit, not very much.
Because it depends, because I'm not very interested in to have a style in my hair, so I just trim it up. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you just trim it. Yeah. So that's like in this story, what that guy is doing. He's basically just trimming his hair because even though it might grow, it's not going to grow that much every 2 weeks. Yeah. So, yeah, for sure. And Julissa, did you have a question?
Yes. What's the name of the person that cuts the hair of women and men? The barber?
Yeah, so the barber works at the barber shop, and then at the hair salon, you might call the person like a hairstylist, a hair cutter, you might say a beautician. Yeah.
Okay. Do we say hairdresser?
Hairdresser, yep. Lots of different words. Yes, exactly.
Can I ask one?
Maria?
What is it called when you don't want to dye your hair? When you dye your hair, it's like with chemicals and stuff in it. But when you want a weaker sort of color in your hair, which is not, it doesn't last for months. It lasts for weeks. What is that called? Do you know?
Well, some people put in like natural hair coloring.
Yeah, but that's not what I mean. It's like two different things.
Like some kids like to spray like their hair purple or blue or something like that. Or it's just called hair coloring.
Hair coloring, okay.
Yeah, usually. Dyeing is a little bit more of a longer process, like women who like to dye their roots. They dye the roots of their hair because their hair is brown, maybe, and they're trying to make their hair blonde. Yeah.
Yeah, some people here, they bleach their hair.
They bleach their hair, yeah.
Blonde.
Yeah, they make it blonde. Yeah, for a long time, I thought my mom had blonde hair. And then I realized that she was dyeing it herself. And I guess when I was little, I didn't really know what she was doing. But she would put all this stuff on her hair and walk around with a plastic bag on her hair. And I just always thought that was basically her natural hair color. And then she told me that her hair color is really darker brown, but that her mom actually first started dyeing her hair because she wanted it to be blonde when she was little, when my mom was little. So it's been happening for a long time. I guess it was more of the style to have blonde hair. I don't know. So yeah. So do you dye your hair, Maria?
Yeah, but I use natural color, like henna. Do you know that? Henna. Sometimes when I want to change, not always.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. And Mira, hi there. Ahmed?
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
Okay, and you?
Good. Did you hear the story about the haircut?
Well, not the whole thing,
Okay.
but almost I was there, yeah.
Yeah, but so we're just kind of following up a little, talking a little bit about it. Do you get your hair cut at a beauty salon, a hair salon, or where? Who cuts your hair?
Hair salon, of course.
Yeah, yeah. How often
Yeah.
do you go?
Well, from time to time, not really. It's not like quite often for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Good. Okay, and Joseph, do you cut your own hair, or do you go to a barber or a hair salon?
Of course, a hair salon. I don't want to take a risk. I cut my hairs by mistake, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't cut for myself.
Yeah. Sometimes it's popular here in the United States for women to cut their husband's hair if they like to. If the men like to have their hair short, they just use the clippers and shave it, every now and then. So sometimes that's a popular thing that women will do. And sometimes the moms or dads might cut the boys' hair too, just to save money instead of going and paying, $10 or $15. Then they go. Maria, yeah, tinting. That's also another way. There's lots of different specific things to hair. It's a big industry, so there's all kinds of products that you can put on your hair to make your hair, style.
I went to a hairdresser once when I was abroad, and I had to like Google some words in advance because
Right.
I wanted to kind of explain how I
How you
my
wanted
hair
your
done.
hair. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, when you go to a hair salon here in the United States, even sometimes a barbershop, oftentimes they have books that have lots of different hairstyles. And so you can just say, like, cut my hair, I want to look like that. And so they'll tell you if your hair is good for that, because sometimes some people's hair can't be cut that way. Like my hair is very curly, and right now it's a little bit wet, so you can see the curls, but underneath it's a little frizzy. So it's not straight, so I can't have the same kind of haircut. So
you don't need a perm.
Yeah, I don't need a perm. Yeah, a perm is when you want your hair to be curly.
Yeah.
Some people want their hair to be curly. Yeah. So I want to just address something that's happening in the Verbling chat with Sarah and Omar, and I don't really know what's going on. I'm doing the class, and so people are coming in and out of the Google Hangout. I don't, the internet is still not a perfect technology, and all around the world, everybody has different levels of service and reliability for their internet connection. So I don't know, and I understand it can be very frustrating if you're trying to get into the Hangout and you keep getting in and then you keep getting dropped. I personally don't know the reason for that. I don't know if it's an internet connection problem or a Google Hangout problem. The best thing I can say is just keep trying, and also you can maybe contact your internet provider to see if they have any suggestions for how to have a stronger connection so that you don't get dropped. Some speeds are faster than others. Some have DSL, some have faster speeds. So I think it all depends on lots of things that we can't necessarily control, okay? So sorry if you can't get in. You can follow along still if you want by listening and watching and writing in the chat. Okay, so I picked another one here. This one is a short story called Horses to Ride. So what's interesting about these different stories is it's all different vocabulary. So just now we had a little bit of vocabulary about hair cutting, hair dyeing, tinting, things like that, trimming, clippers. So maybe you knew those words already, and maybe they are new to you. So this one is going to be about horses. And Mohammed, I see that you joined us. So we're just going to listen now to the story, and then I'm going to do the same thing where I ask you guys some questions, and maybe we have a little bit of a discussion after the story. So it's just a short story, and so here I go. It's called Horses to Ride. So it's about horses. Laura went to the stable. 4 horses stood there. She put a saddle on Star. He was 7 years old, big and dark brown. Her sister came out to the stable. They were both going to exercise the horses. It was a warm, sunny day. Janice saddled up Moonbeam, a white mare. They got on the horses and started walking them. A few minutes later, Laura was telling Janice about the new doctor in her hospital. She raised her hand for a second to make a point. Just then, Star bucked. Laura went flying into the air. She landed on her head and shoulder on the grass. "Oh my gosh!" Jan cried. "Laura, are you all right?" Laura moaned. Jan gently rolled her over. She didn't see any blood. "That's good," she thought. "Can you move? You're not paralyzed anywhere, are you?" Jan pulled Laura up into a sitting position. Laura slightly moved her legs and arms. She wasn't paralyzed. When she moved her right hand to touch her head, she groaned. "Oh, what's the matter?" "That hurt. When I moved my arm, it hurt." They still didn't see any blood. Jan unbuttoned the top buttons on Laura's blouse and looked at Laura's right collarbone. "Oh no," she said. Okay. So this one was about horses, and something happens in the story. So does somebody want to tell me how about Mohammed? Do you want to tell me what happened in the story for these two women who were riding horses?
Yes, but I didn't understand your lesson.
Okay. Okay, no problem. That's what this class is for, is to listen and to see what we can understand. So let's go a little bit slower. Laura went to the stable. Do you guys know what the stable is? What's a stable?
Yep. Where the horses are.
Yep. Where the horses are, or where they live. Okay, so I'm going to be putting... So usually a stable is like a little kind of a square enclosure where you put hay in there and you put your food in there. That's called the stable. And that's where sometimes it might just have one horse, but sometimes there might be lots of horses in the stable, lots of different compartments for different horses. Okay, so Laura went to the stable. 4 horses stood there. She put a saddle on Star. What's a saddle? What did she put on the horse?
Which inside
like the rain?
The saddle. The seat. Yes, the saddle is the seat. Okay. Yes. Has anybody ever ridden a horse in the class?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Good. So that's the saddle. So I'm putting it up. Sorry, here. Let me get the screen share going so everybody can understand. So that's the saddle. There's different kinds of saddles for depending on how you want to ride your horse, like a Western saddle or an English saddle, different types of horse riding. Okay, so she got the saddle out, and then, she put the saddle on the horse. Okay, and then, let's see, it said, she put on, so the horse was named Star. He was 7 years old, big and dark brown, and her sister came out to the stable. They were both going to exercise the horses. So what were they going to do, Mohammed? What were they going to do with the horses?
I want to ride.
Yeah, they're going to ride them, and it's called exercise them. So they're going to ride them so that the horses get some exercise. Okay, because when they're standing in their stalls in the stable all day long, they need to get out and move around and run and stuff. And then it says, it was a warm, sunny day. Janice saddled up Moonbeam, a white mare. So there's a word maybe some people don't know. A white mare, that is a female horse.
Female, yeah.
Good. And they got on the horses and started walking them. A few minutes later, Laura was telling Janice about the new doctor in her hospital. She raised her hand, so she put her hand up for a second to make a point, and just then Star bucked. So the horse bucked. What does it mean when a horse bucks? What is the horse doing?
Stops abruptly?
Not stopping abruptly.
Jump?
Not kind of like jumping a little bit. It's like, you see that picture there? Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna show you. See what's happening there with that horse? That's in a rodeo, and when a cowboy is riding on a horse in a rodeo, they punch. I don't know. They do something to the horse, like maybe they give it a little sting, and it gets agitated. Yes, and it gets mad, and so it starts bucking. So that's what happened to her. Is the horse bucked? So sometimes horses, if people know about horses, they get very scared very easily. And so maybe in the story you could say that the horse got scared and it bucked. So it kind of just lifted up its back legs probably, and it sent the girl, Laura, flying. Okay, so that's what happened. So it said Laura went flying into the air. And how did she land? Maria, do you remember how she landed?
Oh no, I don't remember.
Okay,
sorry.
It's been a while since I read it. All right, I wrote it here in the chat. Laura went flying into the air. So that's describing her like flying off the horse. And she landed on the ground on her head and her shoulder, okay, on the grass, on the ground there. So that's what happened. And so here we go. Her sister, Jan, cried, "Oh my gosh, Laura, are you all right?" So, oh my gosh is a very common phrase that a lot of Americans say. Oh my gosh, like what happened? So that's when you're surprised. Laura moaned. Jan, yes.
So what is the difference between to say, oh my gosh, and oh my God?
It's not much difference. Some people are offended if you say, oh my God, because they don't, well, you know, very religious people might be offended because they say you are taking God's name in vain. That's what they say, right? So usually, you know, if you care about that kind of thing, then you might tell your kids if they say, oh my God, to say oh my gosh. So you might tell people, and so sometimes kids say that, or adults. It's kind of more like, what is your habit? What did you get into a habit of saying? So yeah. So okay, so she flew off this horse, and her sister said, "Oh my gosh!" And then she moaned. Everybody understand the word moaned?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody? Hey, Julissa, what is it? What does it sound like to moan?
Maybe like she was hurt. Her sound was like very like whispering or complaining.
Like sighing or growling.
Moaning. So can anybody give me an example of moaning? Who can? Somebody can pretend that they just fell off a horse. What would they be moaning? Alan, how about
she complains from her horse.
Yeah, moaning is more like making a sound like like that. So she might be going that's moaning. Okay, it's not necessarily saying any words. It's just the sound that you make when you're hurt and you're like like that. Okay, so they didn't see any blood, and she asked what did she ask? What did Jan ask her sister?
If she's
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And specifically, she said a specific thing. What does it mean when you can't move? What's that called? When you can't move
Paralyzed.
Paralyzed. Paralyzed, yeah. So she said, can you move? You're not paralyzed anywhere, are you? So she's just checking to make sure she's okay. And then
can you say also stiff? Stiff?
Say it again.
Stiff? Scared stiff?
Can you write it in the chat?
No. Forget it. Excuse me.
Go ahead and. Okay.
Oh.
What's the matter? And then
disability, of course.
Yeah. So disability. Yeah, disability. Yeah. Are you hurt? Are you paralyzed? Paralyzed is specific to like you can't move. So like.
Stiff.
Say it again.
Stiff. Scared stiff. Scared stiff.
How do you spell it?
Can you see it from Daniel?
Oh, scared stiff. Yeah, no, that's something different. Paralyzed in fear, that's where you're thinking of. Paralyzed with fear means you're like, I'm so scared I can't move. But actually really paralyzed means you're so hurt that like something happened with your nerves and now you can't move. Yeah. So a person who's really paralyzed, you might see them, maybe if they got into an accident and they got paralyzed in their legs, they have to use a wheelchair now because they can't walk. So that's, when a person's really paralyzed. So in the end, we find out that it looks like she might be hurt. And does anybody remember what part of her body looks where it looks bad?
Her collarbone.
Yes. Everybody. This is
arm.
her collarbone. Yeah, her arm. So she landed on her shoulder and her head, and it looks like maybe her collarbone. We call that gets dislocated. So maybe you might dislocate your collarbone, and that can be a very painful kind of
dislocate.
Injury.
Is it broken?
Not necessarily broken. No, it's like it comes out. We call it comes out of the socket. So the place where it's supposed to be, it's not there.
Okay. Wow. It hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my friend last week had an accident and he got dislocated his shoulder.
Yes.
And he just today he was in the hospital. They make him surgery and operation. They put something metal and I don't know what is that called.
Wow.
What is that called? What's that called when they put something? It's metal or something.
Yeah, sometimes they put like a pin or something in it. They put metal pins or rods. That's what happens sometimes. I was looking here to see if I could find a picture for you guys. So see, like I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's when your collarbone gets dislocated, it moves out of the space where it's supposed to be. So it's not like a break in the actual bone. It's just a movement, like they have to see it on X-ray. Like that would be a break on the X-ray. You can see that that's an actual break there. So yeah, actually, those kinds of injuries are very common. Like if you're riding a bike or a horse and you fall off and you jam your shoulder like that, then you can dislocate your shoulder or your collarbone or something like that. Yeah. Yep. Okay, good. Anything else? I think we did that story pretty good. You guys understood that. Has anybody ever broken anything on their body, like their arm or leg or anything?
Yeah, me.
Mohammed, what did you break?
Breaking legs in one bone. Just when I'm playing football, someone shot me in my leg.
Oh, yeah. So in your shin, maybe?
What?
In your shin, the lower part of your leg?
In my legs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, but in my leg.
Mhm. Yeah, that's common if you're playing soccer or something. Usually in soccer, that's why they want you to wear shin guards. But if you get hit really hard, you can break your leg. Yeah. In here in the United States, it's very common for young people to go skateboarding. And a lot of people who are skateboarding break their wrists or things like that. So it's common. Yeah. Alan, how about you? Have you ever broken any bones in your body?
No, never.
No?
I think I'm strong enough.
Yeah. Well, it also depends on what kind of things you do. If you're like some sports are more common for injuries, like skiing.
I forgot the word when it's not broken, but it's just the muscle.
Oh, like a sprained muscle?
Yeah, exactly. I sprained my wrist.
Oh, yeah. That happens a lot, too. You sprain your wrist, or what's popular is also to sprain your ankle. Like if you... Yeah, that can happen. Yeah. Good. Sounds like you guys are all pretty healthy then. That's good. Okay, I think we have time for another one. Let's see here. Let's do this one, laundry day. So this one's called Laundry Day. So listen up, and we're going to read through it, and then I'm going to ask some more questions. Saturday morning meant one thing for Susan, doing the laundry. She hated doing the laundry. Unenthusiastically, she took the pillowcases off all the pillows. Then she removed the fitted sheet from the mattress. She took the towel off the towel bar in the bathroom. She grabbed a couple of dirty dish towels out of the kitchen and looked all around her apartment for anything else that needed washing. In the corner of her living room, a can of coins sat on top of the file cabinet. She fished out 7 quarters. She opened the cabinet under her kitchen sink and grabbed a plastic bottle of liquid detergent. Finally, she set her electronic timer for 35 minutes. The timer would remind her that the washing was done and that it was time to go back downstairs and put the clothes into the dryer for 40 minutes. Without the timer, Susan would completely forget to check her clothes. Susan carried the laundry basket downstairs. How happy she would be when her laundry was done for this week. As she approached the laundry room, she heard a familiar sound. The sound was the washer washing and the dryer drying. One of her neighbors had got there before her. Muttering, Susan took her basket back upstairs. Okay. All right, so this lady's doing her laundry. Okay, Ahmad, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, okay.
Fine story, very much detailed.
Yeah, so lots of details.
I thought my mother the only one who gathered everything in the house to make a laundry.
So, do you not do your own laundry then?
No, I usually don't do it, but 2 years ago we got that high-tech, very smart washing machine. It's automatically just put your things in it, take the right setting for it, and everything will done automatically.
Automatically.
So, yeah. But my mother, when I was a young child, my mother used to take my clothes off to change everything. She wants everything to be clean in the room, everything, pillows, everything. So this reminds me of my mother.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to help you guys out here, and I just posted the link. So if you want to open it, that will give you what I just read, and so you'll be able to read it now along. And so I'm going to keep asking some questions here. So, Chiho, what day is laundry day for this person?
Every Saturday morning.
Right. And how long do you remember how long it usually takes to wash the clothes? What does she set for time?
35 minutes, and the dryer is 40 minutes.
Right. Yep, you got it. Okay, good. And what kinds of things is she going around and picking up in the house?
A pillow, all the pillow and the towel, everything.
Pillowcases.
Pillowcases, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and the towels and things like that, right? Yeah. Okay, good. So does it sound from this article, does it sound like she likes to do the laundry or not?
No, she hates.
She hates it, yeah. Does anybody in the class like to do laundry? Anybody? Anybody? No. Alan, how often do you do your laundry?
Yeah, I hate it as well. I'm doing it once.
Hi, I'm David. Welcome to my site.
I'm sorry.
Here, I'll reveal for free.
Ahmad says he likes to do laundry. So how often? Sorry. I think Alan. Okay, Chico, how often do you do your laundry?
Once a week.
Once a week?
Once a week, yes.
Do you have... Go ahead.
But the summertime.
Yeah.
Maybe twice a week or... Yeah, because very hot and I wait a lot. So I need to change the clothes very often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Ahmad, how about you? How often do you Or do you have somebody do your laundry? How often?
Yeah, I used to have my mother to do the laundry, but usually now sometimes I'm doing myself because it's very easy.
Yeah.
I want to take something to help my mother in that case.
Yeah.
It's very easy. When we get the washing machine for the first time, I read the manual, so I become that kind of expert. I tried for the first time in my life, I explained to my mother how to do her job. I explained how to use the washing machine.
That's
so
funny.
It's easy, very easy, and very simple.
Do you have a dryer too, or do you hang your clothes out to dry?
No, it's being built in washing machine and dryer at the same time.
Oh, okay.
But we need to take the clothes and put them to exposure them to the wind and the sun. What's the name of this operation? I don't know, but maybe drying in the
drying. Line drying.
Yeah, line drying. But with the prepare setting for the washing machine, you'll get your clothes very, very dry. Even it will take very few hours in summer, and you'll take everything dry. Yeah.
Yeah, because it spins it in the washing machine. If you have a good washing machine, it can spin it very fast, and that gets rid of.
120. Yeah.
That's very fast. Yeah. Julissa, how about you? How do you do your laundry?
Well, Lisa, I do the laundry once a week on Sundays or Saturdays in the afternoons. Yes.
Do you have a washing machine and a dryer, or just a washing machine?
Just a washing machine. We dry the clothes outside. We hang them. Yes.
You hang them. Yeah, you hang them outside. Yeah, that's good. And you, Maria, how do you do your laundry?
Yeah, I live in an apartment, so I have a laundry room on the first floor. So I share it like with other people. I have to book, reserve. Yeah.
Do you sign up for times to do the laundry?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I have to finish on time and so forth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like if you sign up for Saturday morning, for example, and it's nice weather outside, you might want to change
it.
But still, you feel like you have reserved your time, so you have to.
Is it pretty busy?
Yeah, it's pretty busy, yeah.
Do you have a dryer too, or do you line dry the clothes?
Yeah, but it's only one dryer, but there is also a room to hang it.
Yeah. Yeah. So somebody in the chat is want to know, how do you say clothes? So I say clothes. Clothes. You don't really say the th too much. Like Alpha says, it kind of sounds like clothes. Clothes. But you can say it clothes and put the little th in there, but so everybody says it a little differently, I think. Mohammed, how do you do your laundry?
Before about 1 hour, I washed my clothes. Because my mother is far from me, it's not in my home. But when my mother is here in home, she is do she
does it. She does it when she's home.
She does it.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And Oguzhan, is that how you say your name? Okay, you dropped out. Yosef, how about you? How do you do your laundry?
Well, it's like 3 to 4 times a month. Yeah. And I have this washing machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, with dryer, and it's like fully automatic. Just put everything, it will wash it and dry it.
Yeah. Yeah, the washer and dryer is definitely an invention that has saved women, mostly, a lot of time. I know that when I was traveling in Mexico a few years back, there were still some people who would wash a lot of clothes by hand every day, especially if they have kids and big family or something. Women could spend a lot of time washing the clothes by hand and then hanging them up to dry. So So we do a lot of laundry in my house because we have a lot of kids. So there's always laundry going and clothes everywhere. So
God help you.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm going to see if we have time to read one more little thing here from the same website. Let's see. Which one? Let's see. Okay. All right, here's the one called Priced to Sell. It can be a lonely, depressing job, not for the successful realtors, of course. Their job is almost glamorous. Some of them, the most successful, work with wealthy people who live in, buy, and sell beautiful houses in beautiful neighborhoods. But for a new realtor, life is hard. A realtor has to pass a comprehensive test and then take continuing education credit classes annually. He or she has to join a realty company and attend meetings regularly. He has to spend hours on the computer researching the latest properties that are being offered for sale. He has to make cold calls to potential clients. These cold calls are uncomfortable for the realtor and annoying to potential clients. Once a realtor gets a client, he must chauffeur the client from one property to another, patiently explaining this and that while answering questions about these and those. It's always a contest between the seller trying to get as much as he can for his house and the buyer trying to pay as little as he can for the same house. Neither one wants to give in. On top of it all, the seller often lies, proclaiming that there are no problems with his house. No, sir, absolutely none whatsoever. The realtor has to put up with the seller's lies and the buyer's cries of poverty, and in the end he hears these same words from the buyer. I don't know. Let me think about it. Okay, so Yulisa, what is this little story about?
It's about a man that he's trying to sell his house or his property, and he's calling to possible clients.
Okay, actually, okay, let's see. Alan, what do you think of the story is about? I'm going to put the link up here.
Yeah, the story is about a real estate agent. So it's about how hard it is to do that job and how hard it is to convince potential clients.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I'm just writing in the chat. Yes, how hard it is to be a realtor. Yes, so I put the link so everybody can read along with it. It says it can be a lonely, depressing job for the successful realtors, of course. So what's glamorous about being a successful realtor, Imad? Do you remember what it said? What do the successful realtors get to do? Who do they work with?
They usually work with customers by making cold calls. Is it the right expression?
Well, I'm talking about in the first paragraph. It says some of them, the most successful. So the most successful realtors work with wealthy people who live So if you're already a realtor who has experience, you get to work with the people who have the nice houses, the big houses. Okay.
High class people,
Yeah. But if you're a new realtor, like you said, what is it that you have to do if you're a new realtor? How do you?
You have to make a lot of research and to train yourself and to make kind of education, maybe to make a regular visit for training.
Right.
And it's not that easy.
Yeah, probably not. Maria, what are cold calls? What are cold calls? What does that mean?
Cold call is when you call potential clients or customers without. I mean, you just call them.
Right. So we could say a phrase, an expression that we use in English is out of the blue. So if you call somebody out of the blue, it's like they don't know that you're going to call them. So they're not really ready. So you can also say that if something happened out of the blue, my mother showed up for a visit. That means like I didn't know she was coming. She just came. Yeah.
What about this expression, out of the left field?
Out of left field, yeah. So
out of left field.
Out of left field is another way of saying it came from like nowhere. Like you don't know where that came from. So sometimes if you're having a conversation with somebody and they say something that just is totally weird, like where did that come from? And they might say, I don't know, it came from out of left field. Like who knows where that comment came from. Yeah. Okay, well, I didn't have enough time to finish completely this one. If you guys are interested, this is the link to the little story that I just read. But you guys, sounds like you mostly understood it. There's some vocabulary in there about real estate, selling houses, buying houses, and it's a little bit funny because they're talking about what the buyer wants is to pay a cheap price, and the seller wants to get as much money, and so that whole thing. So I'm sure that happens in everywhere around the world. Okay, so I know you guys might want to get on to some other classes. So thanks for coming to class and for participating. I hope you had fun practicing your listening skills. And yeah, thanks for coming, and I'll see you again in another class.
Thank you,
Lisa. Okay, Lisa. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.
So the classroom, as you well know, is the Verbling Hangout, the Google Plus Hangout. And we can only have 9 people in the Hangout at one time. So because Verbling is getting more and more popular, and there are so many people around the world who would like to participate in these classes, then they offered this service so that people who are very serious about coming to class regularly and taking advantage of the different things that you can learn with the different teachers like myself, then you have the chance to make sure that you're actually in the class, because what can happen a lot of times is you come right on time and already the class is full. So if you would like to check out this option, I think they're offering it a free trial right now, so there's you can click on the link above the Verbling chat. However, if you still want to come and take your chances of getting in the class after the first couple of minutes of the class, you will see the green join class button, and you will be able to come in and join the class now. As you see, people are now coming in. Hi everybody, it's Lisa, and it's time for another Verbling class. It's 11 a.m. on, what is today? Wednesday, February 13th, and this class is going to be a listening class. So the way that I'm going to do this class is I will be reading some selections about various types of topics, and then I will have the students be answering questions about what they understood. So we're going to be checking for comprehension. So you're going to have to really pay attention and get your ears working today. So the way this works is Verbling has now set up a premium membership. So it costs $25 per month. And what happens is, if you would like to try the premium membership, it allows you to reserve a seat, so to speak, in the classroom to help you look up some words that you may not know. But this is a little bit of a more challenging class, perhaps, because I am just going to be reading some selections, and the first time around I'm not going to give you the written part. I'm not going to give you the link to the website. I'm just going to read it, and then afterwards I will give it to you. So we're going to see how this goes. Okay, so the students, your job is to listen, and then I'm going to be asking some questions. And so some people, I might just call on people, so it could be you. There are different levels of English, I already know, in this classroom with the various students that are here. some who will be able to probably answer all of the questions, and some who might need to have the story repeated another time, which is totally fine. Everybody's at their own level, and we're all here just to practice and improve. Okay? Also, if you want to listen, people that are watching, of course you can listen because it's a listening class, so you won't be able to answer or speak using English in their work or perhaps in their daily life even. Okay, so I think we're ready to get started here. So I just want to welcome everybody who's here. We got Yosef here from Yemen, and Mine, and Maria, and Jose, Fernando, sorry, and Danielle, and Chi. Oh, hi Chi, are you? How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Hi.
Okay, good.
Nice to meet you again.
Yeah, good to have you again. And Alex is here, and Alan again. So great. So I don't want to take any time to do the introductions because I think most of everybody has been here before, and so I would like to get as much time out of this hour as we can. So I'm going to go straight into the lesson. So like I said, this is a listening practice class. So in a lot of classes I do the reading or the writing, and so you have a little bit more opportunity to use other things like Google Translate or the internet to the class and joining us. And so the first 2 minutes of the class are going to be now just welcoming people in and making sure whoever is here has reserved, they get in first, and then the other people can start coming in. Okay? If this is your first class to Verbling, then let me just briefly tell you how it works. You come on time to the class, and you see the Join Class button. You click on it. It brings you into the Google Hangout, and then the teacher will explain how the class is running. So I'm one of the many, many teachers, and I do lots of different types of classes. I do reading classes where you get to read out loud, and we read articles from newspapers or usually stuff from the internet online, New York Times, the Atlantic, Huffington Post, things like that. I typically have classes that are at a little bit higher level, so it's more intermediate or advanced, people who are oftentimes studying for tests for English proficiency, or people who are just wanting to keep up their practice of English and improve because they are already